Hello, my name is Nathan and welcome to my Sports Development in Action presentation, where in this presentation I will be explaining a little bit about what I done on my placement and what my placement does for the community. Over the past few months I had to complete a minimum of 30 hours placement working with an external organisation. The organisation where I done my placement was called Charlie School Sport Partnership. Charlie School Sport Partnership are a not-for-profit organisation and their aim is to provide exciting sporting opportunities for young people to keep active and live a healthy lifestyle. The team work hard to provide schools with good quality PE lessons and increase participation at all levels. The team are made up of 12 different coaches that are all qualified at different levels, from being a primary PE specialist to a bikeability instructor. So, what I expected from my placement. So during my placement I expected to deliver and assist in PE sessions throughout different schools across Charlie. I also expected to attend regional meetings and attend and assist local and regional school games events and finally gain a wider knowledge in working with children and children with disabilities. Although all my expectations were matched, I didn't really deliver much as I mainly assisted. However, I went out into numerous schools across Charlie to assist with different programmes such as bikeability and inclusion festivals. My expectation of attending meetings was matched, as my first day I attended an SGO meeting at St Bede's High School in Blackburn, where local partnerships came together to discuss new schemes that have been put in place for 2017. I also attended school games events as I helped out at an indoor athletics final, where I helped officiate one of the sports. I also helped out at a dodgeball final where I assisted with running the event, and finally I gained a wider range of knowledge of working with children with disability as I was part of an inclusion festival where the children took part in athletics and dance. So this part of the presentation I'm going to talk about how sport improves health, improves education, reduces crime, promotes gender equality, increased disabled participation, and how Charlie School Sport Partnership helped meet these criteria. So, improving health. Taking part in regular physical activity can have positive health benefits on a person. Bramham, Hilton and Jackson 2006 said that participation in sporting activity is often associated with improvements in the health and fitness of a player. Sport providers frequently extol the health benefits of taking part in regular physical exercise. Not only does taking part in physical activity keep you fit, it can also have a massive effect on the organs and also prevent diseases in later life. The positive direct effects of engaging in regular physical activity are particularly apparent in the prevention of several chronic diseases, including cardiovascular, diabetes, hypertension, cancer, obesity, osteoporosis and depression. And that was from sportanddev.org 2017. So how does my organisation help improve health? So Charlie School Sport Partnership help improve children's health by delivering high quality PE sessions in schools. Their aim is to get more young people more physically active and live a healthier lifestyle. Not only do they just provide PE in schools, they also run school games events, which give the children at school more chance to stay physically active by competing against the classmates and then competing against local schools. As well as providing sporting opportunities for children in school, they also promote healthy eating to children, and that's through the Change for Life programme. So the next one is improving education. So according to research, students that take part in sport tend to be better academically than those who don't. Bowen and Green 2014 state that schools that offer more sports and have successful sports teams produce higher grades. This was the results they got from research that they conducted. Sport can also act as a stress relief for students, as they can step away from their studies and forget about them while they take part in sport. A quote from Gill 2014 says, having dual careers provides motivation for training and preparation, stimulating athletes intellectually and relieving stress. So, Chorley School Sport Partnership help improve children's education by providing more children around Chorley with a chance to play sport and keep them playing regular sport. They also offer children the chance to learn new skills and qualifications that they can use in their education and their future life. So Chorley School Sport Partnership offer the chance for pupils in Year 5 and 6 to become good leaders so that they can develop their leadership skills through a programme called Playground Leaders. So what Chorley School Sport Partnership do is they teach pupils in Year 5 and 6 to become good leaders, so during break time and lunch time they can deliver sporting activities to the rest of the younger ones in the rest of the school. So Chorley School Sport Partnership decided to use this programme because the schools around Chorley were reporting that there were a high level of incidents during break times and dinner times at their schools. So using this this programme, they'll use the older pupils to put activities on at dinner time to reduce it. So during my time I was able to oversee a playground leader session where I attended Balshaw Lane Primary in Chorley with a Chorley school SSP tutor, where for the first hour we was classroom based and the tutor just recapped on what the pupils did the week before. Then we left the classroom and moved into the hall where the children were given a card with a sport on, where they then had to plan a session based on what was on the card. So after that we moved outside where the groups were able to practice their session in front of their little group. Then later on they introduced it to the rest of the class and taught it to the rest of the class. So while I was watching this, I noticed that the children that wasn't very confident stepped back out of the way and just let the other people get on with it. So me and the Chorley SSB tutor stepped in and asked the less confident children to present the session to the rest of the class in order to boost the confidence, because that's the main point of the Leaders programme. So the next one is reducing crime. So there are different views that people have on whether sport actually prevents people from taking part in criminal activity or whether it just prevents it for so long. So Echolm 2013 produced a literature review and found 3 different reasons as to why sport does not prevent crime. So the first point he made was that there is not enough evidence to prove that sport actually prevents crime. The second point he makes is that there is nothing that is deep rooted in sport that makes it suitable to prevent crime. And the final point that he makes is sporting activities are difficult to evaluate because of poor theorisation, meaning that sport activities lack information to prevent crime. However, McMahon and Balleur 2013 state that sport can act as a diversionary activity. So this means that when children are taking part in sport, they're taken away from the criminal activity that's happening outside. However, when they stop playing sport, then they just go back to the way they were. So it's only a temporary time that they're out of criminal activity. And Nicholas and Taylor 1996 put on a 12-week programme for people that have been convicted, and their aim was to stop them from getting reconvicted. And they found that participants that completed more than 8 weeks of the programme were less likely to get convicted. So how does Charlie School Sport Partnership help prevent crime? So Charlie SASP are mainly run in school hours. However, they do host after school sessions, as I was part of a hockey after school club at a primary school where the tutor put on a hockey session. And the school asked us to look and sort of scout players in that session. So they could pick them for the school team. So by giving the kids the opportunity to play and train after school, then they're less likely to be causing any criminal activity outside of school. Also, the last event that I attended was a school games dodgeball competition, which was held after school, so from 3 o'clock onwards, and it didn't finish until around 5:30, meaning that the children that were taking part in sport were actually in school and weren't on the streets with a chance of causing any trouble. So the next one is gender equality. When it comes to sport, it is known that men take part in sport more than women do, as Sport England carried out research and revealed that 2 million fewer women take part in sport compared to men, and that was from campaignlive.co.uk 2016. There are many barriers that women feel they face when taking part in sport. One barrier that women don't like is their appearance when they're doing physical activity. During the research, Sport England also discovered that 36% of the girls that didn't take part in sport was because too much of their body was on show. So, how does Charlie School Sport Partnership improve gender equality? So they promote gender equality through not playing a sport that maybe only one type of gender will enjoy. So during one of the sessions, I went out with one of the Charlie SSP tutors during the afternoon, where he used fundamental movements for different sports, but not actually by playing a certain sport. Firstly, the class was split into 4 teams, and the cones were spread out across the hall, some upside down, some the normal way up. And the idea of the game was to turn the opposing cones the other way up. So the people with the most cones in their favour won. So later on, they stayed in the groups and the four teams, and the skill that the tutor had them concentrating on was rolling the ball with accuracy. So instead of just a boring drill, you come up with a drill where the kids would roll the ball at some cones, and if the ball hit the cone, then the child would go pick the cone up and bring it back to their group, and the group with the most cones at the end won the drill. And this kept the kids interested, as they were never sat down and they were just constantly screaming and shouting all the way through, so it just shown us that they were enjoying what they were doing. So the final one is increasing disability participation. So participation rates when it comes to disabled sports are low. Sport England suggests that 1.58 million people aged 16 years and over with a long-term limited illness or disability played sport once a week. There are barriers to people with a disability when taking part in sport, because there may not be a club in the local area for them to attend, which means they have to travel far in order to get to a club. Another barrier is money. This may be because the sport they want to partake in needs special equipment to play, so they can't afford to buy it. Rimmer, Rubin and Braddock 2000 done a study to see what barriers there were to women with physical difficulties, and found that 84% of women said that it was too expensive for them to take part in. So how does Charlie help increase disability? So they increase disability participation through a programme they have called Inclusion Festivals. The programme is aimed at children that have a disability or special educational needs. So over the year they have 3 inclusion festivals where the children will take part in learning the fundamental movement of different Olympic and Paralympic sports. So during the inclusion festivals, the school sport partnership team will be looking for children that can compete at the level 3 competition of school games. So during my time at the organisation, I was able to watch one of the festivals where the children took part in some indoor athletics and dance. So the indoor athletics activities consisted of some stepping over sponge hurdles one by one, jumping off a springboard onto a mat, walking along a bench, and then jumping off a piece of gymnasium equipment onto a mat. So Charlie School Sport Partnership also promote clubs in the local area for the children to carry on taking part in after they've took part in a session. One of the clubs is an athletics club, and they state that anyone who wants to keep fit can join the club. So the conclusion of this presentation, so overall this presentation has allowed me to explore different social benefits that Charlie School Sport Partnership provide for the local community, and I've been able to support what I've said using academic references. As well as these 30 hours, I am also looking to stay on with Charlie School Sport Partnership, as I want to keep widening my knowledge and gain new and different skills. Thank you for listening to my presentation.